Hey guys! So this is my first subscriber wishlist video. What? So the topic for this video is going to be the ending of Gears of War 3. So this video is meant for people that have already beat the game or don't mind spoilers. If you do mind spoilers and you haven't played the game or you haven't beat the game, don't watch this video because I am going to be going into detail about the ending of Gears of War 3. You have been warned. So let's get this started. I've heard a lot of people say that they didn't like the ending of Gears of War 3 because it was pretty anticlimactic. Where it was like, what? That's it? And I think the reason why people think that is either because they missed the significance of it or because they were expecting it to be all gory or in your typical Gears of War style, like chainsaw through the guts, and it was very unexpected, but if you understood the significance of it, it was pretty clever in my opinion. So let me explain. Do you guys remember when you go to a little town called Mercy to get like you guys needed fuel or something like that, and Dom says, oh, I know where you can get some. You can get some in Mercy, and this is the town where his wife is from. Sam was like, are you sure? Is that okay? Because they thought that it might be too soon for Dom because you know she had died, Maria had died, and he was like, nah, I'm cool, I'm fine now. So they end up going, and if you guys remember, after Dom goes to Maria's family grave, Maria isn't buried there. Her family is buried there. He takes off his necklace, his cog tags, and he hangs it on the angel or whatever it is. And it has a little thingy coming off of it, and it's like, what the hell is that? Like another piece to it. That is actually from the books. That was part of Maria's necklace that she always wore, that Dom gave her. Dom put that necklace, hooked it onto his cog tags. So that's what that was, in case you were wondering. So he puts it there, and then he leaves. He goes and meets up with the rest of the Gears. He goes and meets up with Marcus and Sam and Anya. And Marcus is trying to, like, open this. I think it was a lever or a valve, I can't remember, but he was trying to pull something. And Dom, since he's a commando, the commandos are the ones that have those knives that Dom has. And Dom gives him the knife, gives Marcus the knife. And Marcus, he uses the knife, pulls the lever, and then he turns around to give it to Dom. But Dom is over there trying to pull another lever. So Marcus is just like, okay, whatever. And Marcus puts it away. Now this knife, Dom was very proud of this knife. Because this is what, it was kind of like the symbol of him becoming a commando. This was in the books. When he became a commando when he was very young. He was like 17 or something like that. And he married Maria when he was about that age too. He was very young when he married Maria. And the first thing that he did was when he became a commando was he went to Maria and he gave her the knife. He was like, and Maria saw it and she was like, oh my god, you became a commando, blah blah blah. So that knife meant a lot to Dom. So Marcus wasn't able to give it back to Dom. He kept it. Because he was like, I guess he thought, I'll give it to him later. But then Dom died. Ended up dying in that mission. Which, by the way, I haven't talked about it yet with you guys, but it was a very sad moment. Some of you have asked me if that was the saddest moment for video games in my experience. It wasn't. I actually think that the death of Maria was more sad than the death of Dom. And I don't say that lightly because Dom was my favorite character. I loved Dom. And I always had a feeling that Dom was going to go. That something was going to happen to Dom in Gears of War 3. Just because because of everything that had happened to him. He was he had gone through so much. His kids died. He lost all of his family, and then he had to kill his wife, who was already like gone. He had looked for her for 10 years, and then he had to kill her because she was just not there anymore. That just, it shook him up. And if you've read the books, you really find out what Dom went through after Maria's death. You start finding this out in Jacinto's Remnant, the second book. It takes place right after Gears of War 2. So you really follow him throughout the second book, the third book, and the fourth book. You really follow that how he's been changing, and how he's been just what happened to him in between that time of Gears of War 2 and Gears of War 3. Sam was she would show that she was interested in Dom, but just Dom. I mean, he found Sam attractive. He said it in the books, but he just couldn't. He was still in love with Maria. He was kind of like, he saw himself as still being married. He was so in love with Maria that, and just the way that she died, he just couldn't let that go. So he never approached that opportunity with Sam. It explains in the books that Dom became even more attached to Marcus after Maria's death, because Marcus was the last thing that he had that really mattered to him, because everything that he's loved he's lost, and Marcus was the last thing that he had. So he really grappled onto Marcus, and not just as for support, but also Dom felt this necessity, like this obsession, to take care of Marcus, like to not let anything happen to Marcus, because he was like, if something happens to Marcus, that's it, like I'm gonna lose it. Marcus is the last person I have left, so he would protect Marcus with everything, and he would get mad at Marcus when Marcus would risk his life, and Marcus is always risking his life. I mean, that's never changed. But Dom was like, are you freaking crazy, when Marcus would do things, and Marcus was like, but it was because Dom just couldn't accept the fact that Marcus could die on him. That's one of the reasons why he sacrificed himself in Gears of War 3. He felt that he had to save Marcus, since he hadn't been able to save Maria. And it was his time to go, really. The way that he felt, he wanted. I mean, he even talked to Maria when he was in that tank thing. He felt like he didn't belong there anymore. Like he just had nothing more to live for, but to protect Marcus. That's all he was really living for. And I'm going into this because it really ties to the ending, the significance of it. Dom he already hated the Locusts, but after Maria's death, he hated them with a passion. He swore that he would get revenge for Maria's death, for all of his family's death, but especially Maria. I mean, in the books, it goes into this whole, Dom really wanted to just hack and slash all the Locusts, because he just could not let that go. And sometimes people would say, who said, what if they're just trying to survive, the Locusts? Someone said that. What if they're just trying to survive, and they're fleeing the Lambent, and I mean they don't know what to do. I mean, they have nowhere else to go. And Dom would get infuriated by that, by anybody trying to even excuse a Locust. He'd be like, don't even go there. Like, there was no excusing any of the Locusts for him. So he wanted revenge bad, and he never really got that closure that he needed. So this leads me to the end. Everybody wanted to see Marcus destroy the queen, the Locust Queen. And to be honest, I thought that that's what was going to happen. I thought he was going to chainsaw her face off. But he didn't. And I didn't get it the first time around. Like I saw the ending twice. And the first time around, I was like, that was it? And the second time I saw it, I was like, oh my god. The knife. That's Dom's knife. I mean, you guys probably realized that, but I think some of you guys missed it. That was Dom's knife. The one that Marcus never gave him back. That's why he said, this is from Dom. Marcus preferred to give Dom his closure, that revenge that he fought for so long. He preferred to end it with Dom's knife than to hack and slash the queen. That would have been pointless. That would have been like, that's it? If she just like turned her into a pile of goo, that would have been like. But this was so significant because it was what Dom wanted, and it was by his hand, by his knife, by that knife that meant so much to him. And Marcus did it for Dom. It was like the last thing that Marcus could do for Dom. So that's the significance of the ending of Gears of War 3. And I think a lot of people miss that. Now, a lot of you guys are probably not that emotional and are like, who cares? I wanted to still see him hack and slash the queen. Whatever, that's up to you. But I think it was a brilliant ending. I thought it was very significant. It was done in a very subtle way, but it was perfect. It just meant so much. And I think the less that was done was better, just because there was so much weight to that knife, to that motivation, to that homage to Dom. Because Gears of War 3 was really, it was a lot about Dom. Even though he died, like in the middle of the game, I think it was all throughout the whole game. It was always about Dom. In Gears of War, Dom was always the most. I like to say that he was always the most human. He was always the one that was feeling, that was showing emotion. I mean, he would cry, and these are these big dudes that are fighting locusts and have blood all over them. Dom was the complete opposite of Marcus. Marcus never showed any emotion until the ending of Gears of War 3. Dom always showed it. So I think it was a lot about Dom. So that's the significance of the actual ending. Now let me talk a little, because the person that asked me to do this video said, explain the ending of Gears of War 3. I was confused. So that's the significance of the ending. Now let me talk a little bit about what Adam Phoenix did, Marcus's father. Adam Phoenix talks about when Marcus is talking to him in the room, when you finally meet him face to face. Adam Phoenix talks about the locust, and Baird says, "Wait, you knew about the E-Day? You knew that the locusts were gonna attack, and you never said anything?" And Adam Phoenix is like, "No, I didn't know when they were going to attack. He knew that the locusts existed, and he knew that there was a problem going on down there with the Lambent. He knew all this. He was in contact with the Queen, but when he found out, he was trying to negotiate with the Queen, because the Queen was already saying, we're going to go under the surface because the Lambent are destroying us, and this is just, we can't do this anymore." And Adam Phoenix is like, "Just wait, hold on, just, I'll create something to get rid of the Lambent. I'll create something, just don't attack, don't." But I guess it took too long for Adam Phoenix to create what he was creating. And they just couldn't wait anymore, and the locusts attacked. So he did know, but he didn't know when. He didn't know when it was going to happen. He tried to prevent it, but it didn't work. He created something that would kill the lambent. And the humans, Baird, was like, wait, isn't this going to kill us all? Because we've all been exposed to emulsion. But it ended up not killing the humans because the lambent, well, they're pretty much made out of emulsion. And the locust had been living with emulsion underground for years. So they were pretty much almost lambent too. So that's why it destroyed them and not the humans, because they weren't directly exposed to emulsion for years. And that's why Adam Phoenix injects himself. He pretty much injects himself with like this emulsion stuff, making him kind of like the first symptoms of the lambent humans. So eventually he was probably going to turn into a lambent human, Adam Phoenix. And he did this to test it. He had to do it to test it to see if it would work. And it ended up did working. That's why Adam Phoenix died as well, because he had that emulsion in him. So Adam Phoenix ended up sacrificing himself to save everybody else because he needed to test it on something. So he tested it on himself. Now, why Adam Phoenix was held there? That was because of the chairman. The chairman abducted Adam Phoenix, and when he was supposedly dead, the chairman had took a lot of the main scientists. Before E-Day got really bad, the chairman took the scientists and put them in a safe place because he was like, we're going to need as many scientists as we can get. And Adam Phoenix was one of the best, especially to create weapons. So that's why he took Adam Phoenix. And he was like, it's better for them to think that he's dead so that they don't question about where he is. Because he's like, we need to keep the scientists safe because we're going to need something, some kind of weapon or some kind of cure or something. Because if they didn't have any, if say the scientists all died, they were screwed. So the chairman was like, I need to put these scientists aside and have them investigating what to do in a safe place and not have anybody know, because if he would let anybody know, it could be a danger for the scientists. So I think that's why I hear a lot of people say that the ending was kind of like it was missing something. And I think it's because the books really make the ending more comprehensible and more significant. I could see that kind of sucks, because it's like, why do I have to read the book to get the experience for Gears of War 3, the ending? I know I love the books and I would recommend it to anybody, but I know that not everybody likes to read. I mean, that the game would have been super long and it wouldn't be the type of game that it is anymore. The game is more focused on the action and the killing and the guns and the chainsaw and the blood and all that. But the actual story of Gears is not just that. There's so much to it, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. They don't understand how much of a story Gears of War really has. But the only bad thing is that story is all in the books. It's not in the game, because they could only do so much in the game. Because then it would change. It would be a different type of game. One other thing that I wanted to mention that was also significant was when Marcus takes off his do-rag. That had significance also. But that was from the books, and that was all the way from the first book in Asphalt Fields. Marcus told his best friend, Dom's brother, Carlos. Carlos once told him, when are you going to take that off? Because he always had it on. And Marcus said, I'm going to take it off when the war ends. And he said this during the Pendulum Wars. This was years before the Locust Wars. So they've pretty much been in war forever, because after the Pendulum Wars hit E-Day and then the Locust Wars started, and Marcus never took it off. And Carlos died in the Pendulum Wars, so he kept that promise to Carlos. I'm going to take it off the day the war ends. It was kind of like a homage to Carlos. And another thing also from the books, people think, oh yay, Anya and Marcus finally get together. Oh my god. He like so grabbed her hand. Ah! They've been together since who knows when. But in the books, it's been like an on and off relationship, Anya says. Some people were like, they didn't even like sleep together. They already did. They just didn't show it in the book in the game, so sorry guys. So yeah, that's the ending of Gears of War 3. I hope that made a little more sense. I hope that answered your question. The person that requested this video, thank you for that. That's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. I'll talk to you guys later.